Yes, boys. So in this one, I want to talk about a particular video that Hamza made called The Special Event. Essentially, in this video, it talked about how men nowadays sort of believe that there's going to be some special event in their lives which will basically change their lives for the better. But Hamza goes on to talk about how this isn't the case, and that there has to be a lot of hard work and grinding, a lot of delayed gratification in order to really change your life for the better. So in this video, Hamza made some amazing points, and for the majority of the video, I do completely agree with it. But there are some points, especially on the instant gratificational part of watching films and movies and different TV shows, where, I slightly disagree with him on that point. So the main part of it, which I do disagree with, was that he goes on to talk about Spider-Man as an example, and how, they've made the film so relatable to people nowadays that, when you're watching it as a kid, you feel like, oh, okay, I'll get bit by a spider, some event's going to take place and my life's a lot better. And I think that's exactly what Hamza took away from the video. And in all honesty, I think that's a bit of a Jeffrey take from it. I think you can dive much deeper into the meanings behind the film, and that's something I want to talk about, and that's something that I took away from it especially. So I think initially, using Spider-Man as an example, you see him as this nerdy kid, he's not getting the girls. Okay, and then the event takes place where he gets bit by a spider, and boom, he's a superhero. He's living the life now. And I think that's what he took away from it, Hamza. But what I took away from it was that, okay, when you see Spider-Man progress, it's a story about him being a teenager, and how over the years having this power, like the quote says, he has a lot more responsibility. And that's what I really took away from it. It's him as a teenager and him maturing into a man. And that's what I really took away from it, especially watching it as a kid. And now, coming up to not being 19 and coming up to 20 and transitioning into the adulthood now. That's what I took away from it. Okay, there's going to be a lot more responsibility, but with hard work and determination, you can power through that. So that's exactly what I took away from it. And I think that's what a lot of people also talked about. I was looking at the comments of the videos, and other people were slightly disagreeing with him there. And to use another example, you look, for example, one of my favorite superheroes would be Captain America, especially from the films. And I think this is a perfect example, because you see him also a skinny kid, nothing's going well for him, and then he has the transformation. Boom, he's got the muscles, the steroid, the trend, and he's got the muscles now, and his life's much better. But that's not the case. And what I took away from it was that it was his character, it was who he was as a person before he had the whole transformation, which made him special. And so that's what I want to talk about, particularly Captain America, where it's his character, it's his will, it's determination, which you see throughout the whole films, not the steroids, which makes him better. That just amplified everything that he had before. And I think Captain America is a perfect example, which Hamza talked about in one of his unfiltered videos, the 5 principles of Adonis. And I think superhero films portray those principles so well, particularly Captain America, particularly the traits of having discipline, humility, and leadership as well. Those are the main traits which I watch this character and that's what I see, rather than just this transition of waiting for some event to take place and that's going to be me, that's going to be, okay, let me just wait for that. No, it's those traits, and working on them. Throughout the films you see that he works on these traits. He doesn't have it all by day one, he works on it, he progresses towards a better level of that. So that's the main takeaway that I took from the films that I watched. And okay, I think he goes on about in this the special event video, and how he hasn't watched films and TV shows in years. Okay, that's great. And I think Hamza talked about, he's in a high level of self-improvement now, where he can't really relate to a lot of the Jeffreys down here. And I think that's perfect where I come in, where I'm not up here, but I'm maybe here, because I have worked on myself for a couple of months. And I want to say that, yeah, I do watch shows, I watch movies still, and I think all in moderation. I think if you have that moderation, if it's getting in the way of your self-improvement, of your daily life, then yeah, it's a problem and you have to reduce it. But I really don't think there's that much harm in you're getting your day's worth of all the work you have to do. You're working your self-improvement, you're hitting the gym, you're reading, you're meditating, you get that out of the way. I really don't think there's too much harm in doing a little bit of instant gratification in watching these films, because you can take something positive away, like I have in watching, Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman, for example. So yeah, I think that's the main place where I contrasted with Hamza and his views. Don't get me wrong, and I think there's so many good points that he talked about in the video. I think the main thing about, okay, men need to do a lot more delayed gratification, because that's what's really going to produce the change. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But I think his take on the superhero films, especially after being a huge fan of it, and I think that's what I took away a bit of a deeper meaning, and I think a lot of other people did too. So I think maybe telling someone no, don't watch it at all, is going to be completely negative. Maybe that isn't the 100% the right answer, and that there's somewhere you can meet in the middle, somewhere where it can produce benefits for you. So those are the main things I want to take away from that video. Anything else? I think the characters of the heroes themselves, they really do show a huge part of what Hamza's trying to talk about as well. The principles of Adonis, like I was talking about, discipline, humility, presence as well, gratitude and leadership. They're all key qualities that everyone should work towards, and they're key qualities that are in several superheroes. So okay, maybe a Jeffrey who's watching things all the way down here, watching things daily, is getting in the way of the things, but they're watching it, they can take some inspiration from it and then slowly reduce it and then work their way up. So I think those are the main takeaways that I took from the video. Hamza's not wrong whatsoever, but there are some stuff that I think that he could have had like a different opinion on, like could have seen a different side of, and so that's what I wanted to share.